Okay, gotcha. Damn. Okay. So, Lee, as you're coming into town, you are keeping a trained eye out. You know better than to walk straight down the road. You kind of veer off to the side, not too far, but just enough that you can sort of spot the herbs and the plants that travelers haven't picked at as they're passing through. And you
Yeah.
do find a few flowers, and you go ahead and clip those. And you know that if you boil these into a tea, that it lessens pain and eases sleep.
Holla. Sounds about right.
All right, so I'll say you could get like two good brews out of that.
Okay.
So, walking into town, Lee, what are you looking for? You're going to be met with the same sight. The wood, it's a fisherman's town, but it's old. The wood is sort of gray and pale and peeling. The shops look like they'll be collapsing before too long.
Lee immediately starts looking out for the sick house. And like she smells of herbs, she smells of earth, and so they like it could be seen that she's very much so a healer. So she's trying to find the location of where the ill are, so she can actually take a look for herself at the severity of the problem.
Okay. Looking about you, you do see various signs to indicate that there are shops here and there. You do see what appear to be like rows of houses sort of scattered about, but
Yeah.
you don't know what belongs to what.
Yeah. And if she doesn't see the sick house right, oh wait, it's Eddie's turn, right?
It doesn't matter. It's whatever you guys want to
You
do.
can keep going.
Okay.
I'm just gonna put one of you guys one day ahead of the other, just so we
Yeah.
can get both your stories started.
Well, I mean, I would have already been here at this point, is I think what we were getting at.
Yeah, you would probably already be here, and we can
Yeah.
cover that as soon as we get this sorted out.
Aye.
All right. So if she's not able to tell which one is the sick house right off the bat, because sometimes you can't, they
There-
have everything boarded up.
Yeah, there's not like a medical facility anywhere around here. If you were to do like a lap around the town.
So the next thing she would do is she would go up to one of the merchants and and explain, hi, my name is Buttercup. I heard that you had some ailments in town, and I'm a healer. I'm here to help. Where are your sick located?
Okay. So the first shop you're going to come across, assumably, if you're sort of headed up. Damn, how do I do that? Thing I don't even remember. Shame on me. If you were to head up this way and go like over here, the first shop you're going to come across is an item and gear shop. On your left, there's just a little sign hanging out front. And that is going to be called... Agnes? I don't know how to fucking say this. Agnes's gear. I'll call it Agnes's supplies. That's a little more rural.
Yeah.
Boop. There you go.
All right.
So, stepping inside, you see it is kind of a musky old shop, and as you sort of like open the door, there's a little like cling like bell, and the wood sort of like creaks beneath your step, and a you meet Bertram Agnes.
Okay.
This man is moderately tanned and has just the faintest trace of an accent. He prefers to wear red pants and t-shirts. He wears his golden hair up, and his brown eyes have a joyful gleam in them most of the time. Huh.
So basically, he is like the charming man in town.
It seems that way. So he sort of hums happily, and he says, "Oh, a customer. Well, that's uncommon around these parts." And he sort of eyes you up and down. And he says, "Is there anything in particular I can help you look for, miss?"
At the moment, no, unfortunately. But hello, my name is. And she pauses for a second. She thinks, and she's not like, "My name is Firestarter."
Firestarter. Oh my god. He's gonna roll insight. And he sort of cocks an eyebrow and leans on the counter and he says, "Your name is Firestarter?" And that's a 15
Yeah.
to see if you're telling the truth.
She puffs up her chest proudly, like she's only 5'2". So it's this itty bitty woman, like trying to inflate like a bird.
And I assume you have, I mean, looking at your
Deception.
art here. Let me see actually if I can show everyone. Oh well, I don't remember how to do it. But looking at your art here, are you covered with like vials and herbs that have just kind of been stuffed into your clothing, or what can you help me out with your appearance here?
When you look at her, she's got, of course, just like a pair of normal trousers on that are a brownish color, and they're tucked into ankle-length, dark and very worn leather shoes. And then from her hips, she has like various um, vials and stuff inside of a belt that she has. So sometimes they are hanging off the belt, or there's a little pouch, and you could just see little green like herbs or flowers sticking out of it. And it doesn't help that she's dreamy. Like she will weave flowers into her hair because it's pretty.
Okay, so you're like decked out in like flowers, and
Yes.
you certainly look like an adventurer.
Yes.
Okay, and did you roll against that? I just want to see if he can tell that your name is not Firestarter.
Deception, Jack.
He's polite enough. He's polite enough to comply anyways. I just want to know if he can tell. So this is
Okay, let's see here.
Bertram Agnes. All right. 16. And he says, "Wow. Well, that's quite the name. Well, you certainly look like you might be a hunter. Are you from around here, Miss Firestarter?"
Lee kind of looks around and, she doesn't really like lying, so she like heaves a sigh. She's like, "I'm actually called Buttercup." It doesn't work. I tried to tell people that I am another name, and it doesn't work.
You can see he's taken aback both at the deception and the immediate subsequent honesty. He says, "Oh." He says, "Well, that's quite all right. As far as I'm concerned, you can be whoever you'd like to be here in this shop."
And she gets all like bouncy happy. She's like, "Yay!" And she like walks over to him and is like, "Well, for one thing, I'm probably gonna need new shoes here eventually, but I heard there was a lot of sick people here. Where are the majority of them located? I came from very far away. The healers have this network where we pass messages along, and I heard that y'all needed some help, so I'm here to try to do what I can."
As you mention, like a sickness. Well, he's like, "Well, miss, if you like, I can set you up with some shoes." But you notice when you mention a sickness that his expression immediately darkens, and he says, "Well, fortunately, it's not a terribly common sickness, but you're probably here for that for the Clifton's girl, and he sort of gives you instructions to... let me see if I can do this. This house right here. Can you see that?
Hold on. I'm dragging the map around so I can see. Yes, I see it.
Okay, perfect. And he says, that's the Clifton house. Right now, their little girl's fallen ill. And there have been a few others like them before, but they tend to act very strangely before disappearing.
And Lee looks at him, and she gets this very worried and concerned look on her face. Like, and she just asks him, disappears?
And
Like, poof, they're gone?
he sort of nods gravely, and he says, generally when someone comes down with something pretty serious, folks around here tend to treat it the old-fashioned way, and we lock ourselves up and come out when everything's better. Strange thing is, some of these sick folks don't come out. Even their families go missing. Since then, we've had some new folks move to town, what with the available houses and whatnot. But it's certainly something quite serious.
Lee just pauses for a second, and she kind of leans against one of the table to her right, and she's like drumming her fingernails across the table as she starts thinking. She's like, how can whole families just up and disappear? Like, you can see her trying to work it out, and she looks at him and she's like, well, is there some things that you could possibly tell me about this sickness? Like, when do y'all first notice that someone is ill, if this is such a rare occurrence?
Well, he says, well, you see, first it starts with sweating. They sweat very profusely, and from odd places, their palms, their fingertips. And the sweating just gets worse and worse, and then they start to get feverish and claim to see things, start jabbering and mumbling to themselves, acting strangely, walking out into the water and such.
It's a type of affliction. That's what she says, and she's like, but I can definitely brew up some stuff to help with the fevers. Maybe it would be a good idea to see what would happen if I help them sleep. Like, help them sleep through the worst of the fever. I can brew like a tea or something. Like, she's like immediately rambling off all these things that she could do. Like, and she's like touching different pouches where each of the ingredients are, like muttering to herself.
Okay. Well, he's sort of like taken aback at your knowledge. He says, well, you certainly seem to know your stuff for such a young lady. And he says, if there's anything you can do for this town, we'd be greatly obliged. But he sort of looks you over and he says, just be careful. Not everyone around here is too friendly to hunters.
That's fair. And plus, I'm not from here. I get it. I understand.
And he nods and he says, good luck, Firestarter. And he gives you a wink.
She giggles. Like, just giggling and blushing like crazy as she waves by.
Okay, so heading out the door, are you going straight to the house?
She's gonna go towards the house where he indicated, but she's gonna take her time to look around the town to see if she notices like any sort of molding going on. Like, she's just trying to really investigate the area at the same time, because anything could be helpful in her finding a cure for this place.
Okay. Well, as you're walking around town, I would say that once you get to about here, make me a perception check.
Okay, let me see where my thing is, my perception. And it's just that. I don't add a proficiency bonus or anything?
if you're looking at a character sheet, it should all be calculated for you. So it should be a bigger number, like a +4, something like that.
Okay, yeah, no, I get, yeah, it is. So I just put the roll 1d20 plus 5.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's your perception check.
Five.
Nice.
Wow. 21. Okay. So Buttercup, you are walking around town and just sort of getting a good look. There are various signs that are hanging out in front of some of these stores. I'll go ahead and just reveal those to you. We have Grocer, which we are going to call... What's a name? Let me just roll this die right here.
Let me randomly generate this for you real quick.
Yeah, sorry. Just throwing
You're
this
good.
together.
It's fun. It's fun. I love it.
74. I'm looking at Marjorie. I like that. Okay, so you've got Marjorie's
Grocery.
Agnes's Supplies, Marjorie's Grocery. Yeah, sure. We'll just fucking put their names on all of them. Why not? Okay. Alright, sorry. So, in addition to that, you also come across Chastain's Tavern.
Back of her mind. Yay!
All
beer.
these names, I might reconsider these because these are all very similarly named. But anyways, the point of your perception check was actually that once you got to about here, glancing over at the house that Bertram had indicated towards, you see a man sort of knocking at the door and speaking to someone who answered the door. Victor, can you go ahead and describe yourself for us, please?
So I'm about 6'2", 180 pounds, decent, like, broad-shouldered, decent-sized guy. Long brown hair, kind of just shaggy, hanging back. And as I'm talking to whoever's in the building,
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to figure out, symptoms, what's going on, and it seems I'm calculating with every word.
Okay. Yeah, you are speaking to Cecily Clifton.
Okay.
I believe that's how you say that name. And you are inquiring about her little girl, who is sick in bed and sweating quite profusely. Go ahead and...
So should I go ahead and just start talking to Cecily?
Yes, actually, that's
Alright.
not good.
Okay.
You can, if you like. I was just noting that she sees you here.
Yeah.
Yeah, in fact, sure. You're talking to Cecily, so you
Alright.
just knocked on the door, right? And she's opened up. And looking at you sort of warily because you are much taller than her. She is only
Yeah.
5'2" and lanky with angular features, but an attractive figure. She wears tight-fitting pants and doesn't usually wear a shirt. Her golden hair is cut jaggedly and amateurishly. Her brown eyes are passionate and lively. She's wearing a dress.
Okay. Well, honestly, even without the shirt, like my character is completely unfazed
I was like,
by
oh.
a shirtless lady. Like if she's just wearing like let's say she's wearing a tube top or undergarments or whatever.
She's wearing
like,
clothing.
Don't even care. Okay, fine.
Not gonna answer the door topless
Topless.
to a stranger.
No, but seriously though, even if she had, my character would be completely unfazed.
No sweat.
Like No sweat, just like Madam Cecily, I believe it is. I was told that your daughter has fallen ill. When did her symptoms first appear?
And she's like, "Oh, yes." And she's looking up at you, and she's like, "I'm sorry. Who are you?"
My name is Victor Mutare. I've come to town to try and cure this illness and see what caused it.
You're a doctor then.
Aye, let me examine your daughter.
Oh, thank goodness. And she sort of opens the door and sort of like invites you in. And as soon as I can find a freaking girl in a horizontal position, I will stick her on the map. They're all standing upright.
Both of us just cackle. No, let me see.
God damn it. All of these fucking pictures are weird. Okay, here we go. She's wearing a captain's hat, but nobody can see it. So we'll just pretend that's not there. Okay, so here we go. This little girl is looking at 12. Anne.
Made a medicine check.
No, Beatrice. Beatrice Clifton. Beatrice Clifton. Okay. What are we looking at for our medicine check there?
Checking out her symptoms, trying to see if I can discern a natural origin for the disease, or if I have any knowledge of said disease or sickness.
Okay. So with a 15, you are sort of giving her a typical, examination. You're sort of looking. You sort of ask Clifton here, or rather, assumably you inquire about a source of light, and she brings you a candle. You sort of hold open her eyelids, and sort of see if her eyes respond. And you are checking her pulse, all of this. What you're able to find is that this girl seems pretty normal, but she is sweating profusely. Like, the bed sheets are soaked. The little girl's, like, black garments are soaked as well. And she is breathing very shallowly, even though there doesn't seem to be anything wrong with, like, her throat. And it's not like a ragged, raspy sound either. It's just like shuttered breathing.
Excuse me. Sorry about that.
And, no, you're fine. And Cecily sort of looks at you and she says, "Oh, I'm so glad somebody's come. The closest doctor, as you probably know, isn't for miles."
I tend to travel in my vocation just because of what I need to do. Let me see what I can do as well for your child. So I don't have to. So this is out of character. I don't have to prepare spells. I can use a spell slot. I can kind of just like have certain spells. I would like to use a detect magic, if that's okay, on the girl to see if I'm looking for in my character's experience, a like monstrous presence inside the girl.
A monstrous presence. Okay, let me see what exactly detect magic does. Because I have typically treated it like magic vision.
Yeah.
Detect magic. Let's see here. Sense the presence of all magic within 30 feet. You can use your action to see a faint aura. Interesting. You learn at School of Magic. Okay. I will say this much. You are able to determine using like we're gonna call detect magic like an extremely thorough like investigation.
Yeah.
Even though you're able to discover these symptoms, from what you're able to medically assess, you cannot find anything that would indicate like the cause of this. And so even though you know better as a character than to like say this to this lady, you wonder if this isn't something more akin to witchcraft, especially given that you have heard it makes people act in strange ways. Now, you well know that there is a fine line between witchcraft and science.
Yes.
Because these people aren't, you know, they're not caught up to your level.
Yeah, they aren't learned in the mysteries of the world.
That's right. That's right.
Hey, I'm trying to be in
Meanwhile,
character here.
no, you're totally right. So meanwhile, Buttercup, you are walking about the town. You did notice the taller man enter the sick house that Agnes had told you belonged to a Miss Clifton, who had a sick daughter. You are seeing various signs that indicate that these are just locally owned businesses. You see some stables up ahead for this inn that just sort of accompany the inn. Are you looking for anything in particular?
She's looking for, like, moldy things, if there's strange plants that she doesn't know of, like just growing through the cracks, like weeds and stuff like that, to see if it's something outside that could be causing things too.
Okay, so I will say this. As you... This is actually extremely noteworthy, and I'm kicking myself for forgetting to mention this. But,
okay.
something that is actually very noteworthy about this town is that the stone you are walking on is not stone. It is dried, dead coral. And, like, all of this is basically old coral that has been, like, dredged up out of the earth. And basically these cliffs that you guys are looking at are, like, very deep, like 50-foot, 60-foot cliffs.
Yeah.
So, Buttercup, you do notice various, like, chunks of coral growing up out of the ground. It's not something you've had too much familiarity with unless you ventured, like, into the sea for your herbs. I don't know if that's... Maybe you do. I don't know. Do you?
No.
Do you go diving for coral? Okay, so in that case, there's really not a lot growing up here. You do see patches of like lichen and grass that's like trying to make its way and survive up here, but there's not a whole lot of dirt. It's just sort of like a solid porous rock.
Alright, so what she does is when she comes across a particular patch that has some like lichen and that grass, what she does is she inspects the little area around it, and she takes the lichen off, so that way she can actually study it, because what if it's releasing spores? And she's gonna check to see if she can find like a loose piece of the ground that has popped up, like a small piece. So that way she could also take a look at that and be like, this is not standard ground. Is there something about this location that is unsafe?
Okay, so you're trying to determine if the sickness could be caused by spores or something like in the soil?
Yes.
Okay. For something that in depth, you can like take a sample with you now. Go ahead and add a sample of the moss or the coral to your inventory if you so choose. Okay. To really study this, you're gonna have to make an herbalism check during a long rest.
Okay. All right, so
it's just a downtime thing, basically.
Yeah. All right, so let me add that to my inventory real quick.
So are you just like kind of making a pass around town?
Yeah.
Okay. So there are still a few buildings that you haven't quite taken a look at, but as you start to enter like this part of town up here, what you're seeing like all through here, these all seem to be residences.
Okay.
There is notably a large store down here in this corner.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what would you like to do?
Yeah. So you make me mental
I
note
couldn't help it. I'm sorry.
You're rude. But, yeah, she pretty much makes her pass through the town. So after that, she immediately starts heading to the Clifton House.
Okay. Okie dokie. So Victor, as you are
Yes.
assessing this little girl, and right as you are beginning to reach your conclusion that this may be something beyond like scientific explanation, but you're not totally sure yet because at this point it seems to be a sickness. You just can't identify anything. At this point, there is going to be another knock at the door. And Cecily is going to sort of turn. And
Madam, were you expecting company?
she says, "No, this is quite the surprise. I don't get many visitors." And she opens the door to see another very short lady looking right back at her. Buttercup, you are, I believe, at eye level with this woman, which is very surprising for both of you.
Wow, you're small like me.
That's the first thing you say. She's like taken aback and she's like, yes, can I help you?
It's like, oh yeah, sorry. I don't really see a lot of people that are the same height as me, so I think we're awesome. But anyway, I am new to town. I went over to Agnes's supplies, and I spoke to Bertram, right?
Yes, Bertram.
I spoke to Bertram, and because I'm a healer, and I heard that there was somebody sick, so I asked him about what was going on, and he directed me here. And I want to see if there's anything I can do to help, soothe your little girl, or at least get her to feel better, or something like that. I'm an herbalist, and she just rambles for a second, and she's like, "Okay, I'm done. Bye."
You see the surprise on her face, and she says, "You're a healer." And then she turns to you, Victor, and she says, "Do the two of you know each other?"
I'm clearly too surprised by another healer showing up in this village to what I thought would be just myself trying to help these people.
Please, come in. She invites you
Yes.
inside. She says, "What luck!" What great fortune!
Collaboration is the first step to inspiration. So,
Yeah.
please examine the girl.
She nods her head. She looks up, probably because he's like freakishly tall compared to her.
Super tall, yeah. Also did not introduce himself. He's just like, "Take a look."
She just slowly looks up at him and goes, "Oh shit, he's tall. Okay, look, there's a child." Turns around.
Victor, out of curiosity, what is your demeanor like generally? Because you are on the taller side, and I imagine you are something of an outcast. Yes.
Yeah. Very neutral, hard to read
Blank faced.
off the bat. Very blank, yeah.
Okay.
So Lee goes over to the child, and she can see, after she gets the candle, she can see the fever. She sees how saturated the bed is, and she immediately takes off her belt and sets it beside her, and kind of like pushes her hair back away from her face. She's like, okay, first off, yes, I can see she has a fever, and she is soaked to the bone. We
Mm-hmm.
need to change the bedding, and we need to change her into something new and clean. And do you have a bowl and some rags I can use so that way we can try to help soothe her while I put together something to break this fever and maybe help her get some sleep?
Seeing you take charge, Cecily, who doesn't know a thing about healing, is like, yes, yes, of course, please. And she turns to you, Victor, and asks if you can help move Beatrice to the other bed.
Definitely. Let me see what I can do. My strength is not very high.
Did you roll a 3?
No, that was my perception check.
Oh god, okay.
That was my perception check
drop her.
to check out the as she came into the door.
I mean, yeah, just roll it. It's not gonna be super high. She's not super heavy.
I know.
But there's always a chance that you drop her. Okay.
Guns.
Okay, so Victor, as you walk over to Beatrice and you pick her up, again, you note that she's not particularly warm. And Buttercup, you would note this too. Unusually, she has all the other signs of a fever. She looks flushed. She's sweating. She's kind of like, she's got like shivering breathing, sort of. But she's not burning. Yeah, she's cool. And the two of you notice as you lift her out of the bed that the bed is soaked, like down to the mattress. It's like someone took a bucket of water and just dumped it right on this bed. But
so,
Cecily,
as I'm holding her up, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say she starts folding the sheets as per Buttercup's instruction.
As I'm holding her, noticing her temperature and how she seems to still be, is she like basically dripping water as I'm holding her, basically?
Yeah, it's like softly like tit-tatting against the floor as you like move her over.
With the most emotion that he is at noticing that her dripping like this, he just curious.
That's when Lee looks at it and she's like, and like back to his arm, like, just.
So it's just like she doesn't need to know what she doesn't need to know, you know. So she's folding up all of the sheets as per your instruction. She gets out like new bed sheets and she gets out a pair of clothes for the ladies to change her clothing.
Yeah.
As they change the bedding, he gently sets the child down and then respectfully turns his back.
Very polite.
Even though he's a doctor, there's a mother and another healer present of female persuasion. He feels he should not be involved in this, so
they appreciate that. And Buttercup, as Cecily is sort of like helping you change like all the wet clothes, and Victor, you hear this too, she makes the comment that, you know, it's strange, for as much as she's sweating, she hasn't been drinking that much water. In fact, she hardly wants any.
Curiouser and curiouser.
And Lee looks over to Cecily. She's like, "Really? That is a bit concerning." And as they're like stripping down the little girl, trying to get her into some new clothes, Lee is taking her time to like examine the skin on her body to see if there's like any sort of like modeling going on, or like see if there's any veins popping to the surface, like any irregularities.
Okay, go ahead and make me a medicine check with advantage since you are examining a nude person.
Okay. medicine. Hold on, I got scrolls up on my page. Okay, and with the advantage, how much do I add for the advantage?
You
You
just
make another roll,
yeah, the
Oh,
higher
sorry.
of two rolls.
basically. Yeah.
Okay.
Damn.
Nice.
Okay. So, Buttercup, with this, I am going to go ahead and put you in Victor's boat where you thoroughly assess the symptoms, right? She's sweating, she's flushed, ragged breathing, she is exceedingly pale, she doesn't seem to want any water, and yet she is not burning up. She doesn't seem to be responding to any kind of infection that you can tell. And you're having difficulty figuring out the source of this illness.
She gets very, very curious, and she speaks to Victor. She's like, just so you know, I checked over her skin. There's nothing on her skin. Her body seems fine other than all this profuse sweating, and she's cold. Maybe we should stoke the fire and get the house hot.
Go ahead and do that. I must. I've left something in my room. Make a deception. I'm making a deception check.
Yeah, go ahead. In fact, just so you guys know, the way I am going to run deception is that it is up to the other players to catch your deception. And if they catch
Okay.
it, they can ask for an insight roll. But if you trick the other players, then you trick the other players.
D20 plus 4, right?
Yes, D20
For
plus
insight,
plus
yes.
your insight.
Oh my god.
You got this. You got this. Oh.
Ow.
Oh my god. Okay. Buttercup, you don't know why he's lying, but this man is lying to you.
She kind of cants her head to the side, and she's making sure that the child is laid comfortably in bed and everything like that. And she makes a point that as she is steadily walking towards the fire to stoke it and put fresh wood and stuff on there, to just stare at him, just deadpan. Like faces flat.
You get a look from Buttercup, Victor. You're not sure yet what that means, but she gives you a face. Now, Victor, I actually
Yes.
wanted to do this with you when you entered the city,
Okay.
but I will say for the sake of this that after assessing the town, you noticed a few different things. There is an inn here that you could stay at. And along the coast, you have noticed that there are various caves. And there
Okay.
is one particularly close, actually, right over here on the other side of this house. And looking down at this cave, you see it's about 25 feet down, and it doesn't look like there's any easy way to reach it for anybody.
Okay.
I'm just putting that out there.
I happen to know an easy way to reach that kind of thing.
Okay, no problem. So you're staying
Cool.
at the inn then? Easiest place for you?
Well, I am staying at the inn, but I will want to investigate that cave, especially after coming to check on this young girl.
Okay. So would you like to return to the inn?
So, no, I'm not actually returning to the inn. I'm gonna duck around the back side of the house, away from any windows,
Okay.
and then go ahead and shift into Guardian form.
Oh shit. Okay, so you're shifting into Braxis?
Yes.
Okay. Oh shit, he is not that big. But he is not that big. Okay.
Braxis smash. No,
Okay. Go ahead and make me a perception check.
Okay, I can take that.
Okay, okay. So you don't hear anyone in the vicinity, but you do
Yeah.
hear voices in town, and it does sound like there are a couple people just walking about town. So be mindful of passing through these areas.
I'm actually going to jump down. Using the jump spell to secure my my safe landing. I'm going to jump down to the cave that's on the underneath this house.
Okay. So you were just hopping down here to this distant cave?
Yes.
All right.
He just went. Whee!
With a jump spell, you have no problem doing that. You're just going to hop right on down to the distant cave in BD. And are you just going to enter this cave then?
I'm going to kind of look into it first before I just venture in. Braxis is like cautious, but still like obviously beefy and huge.
Okay, okay. Beefy, huge, and cautious. I'm about it. So let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and move you in. So I'm glad we're doing this now because I need to figure out how dynamic lighting, like fog of war dynamic lighting works. So right off the bat, let me throw you up here. Let me know if you can see anything. Oh shit, wrong layer. There you go. You are here. Can you see anything? Upper
I see
left
hatching
hand.
dragon,
I
magic
see-
dragon, crafting list of spells, critical hitting.
I see a wedge.
A wedge. Okay, are you able to see your character, Braxis?
No, I'm not.
Over here. Alright, let me try.
I feel like that's where I am at, so like it's basically where my cone of vision starts,
Okay.
I believe.
Do this. Okay, can you see now?
I see you moving me, yeah. But the cone of vision isn't moving.
Vision is not. Oh, token vision. Let's try that. Okay, are you able to see now?
It's not the vision isn't moving? It's staying in the same area.
Okay, let's do this. 10 feet of bright light. There you go. Now can you see?
Yes.
Okay, let's crank that up to 15 feet of bright light.
Okay.
There you go. Alright, you're able to move yourself? Yes?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So you are kind of investigating this cave.
Mm-hmm.
And right now you're just kind of poking your head in. You can't see too much. There doesn't seem to be any light source in here. But this certainly is a cave that you are standing in the entrance of.
Mm-hmm. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and take a little bit further into the cave.
Okay. So you are investigating further in. You're just sort of walking cautiously. It doesn't look like anybody's been here.
Yeah, I'm not stealth checking or anything. I'm just like this big lumbering creature is coming into this cave, so
At this
I'm
time,
not gonna lie. I'm kind of relying on terrifying appearance at this point. If any person is in here.
Okay, that is a-okay. go ahead and keep on searching that cave.
All right. So I see this first branch off to the right. I'm gonna keep moving over down here.
Okay.
I'm gonna move to this branch of the cave over here first. Let me leave that there, since it doesn't track me, you know.
Go ahead and make me a perception check.
All right.
Damn it.
Hey.
Nice. Okay. You do hear some shuffling here in the dark.
Okay.
There-
Do I have a direction?
It's kind of like a skittering sound. It seems
Okay.
seems to be emanating from this direction. It's not terribly loud,
Okay.
but there does seem to be something in there.
All right. So checking out this branch, I move a little bit farther. There's nothing ahead of me over here.
Not
It's
in that,
just-
not in that direction. No, there does not seem to be
All
anything
right.
over there.
All right. So I'm gonna move back here towards the skittering.
Towards the skittering. Okay.
I
So-
move over behind this rock over here
Okay.
and
So,
see if I can't peek around.
but you're not. So go ahead and. Hang on. Let me properly size these.
Sorry, I shouldn't. I feel like I shouldn't laugh like that.
Go ahead and make me one more perception check.
Hey.
Okay. So you do hear like a skittering beginning to approach you.
Okay.
At the sound of this noise. And you see it's not like trying to like come at you right now.
Yeah.
But this large clawed crab looking creature just sort of like warily like shifts from side to side and is kind of holding its claws up at you.
Okay.
And its mouth sort of like you see its mouth parts move and like a disgusting like yellowy fizz comes out of it.
Ew.
Gross. Do I hear anything else in the cave or just this one thing from my check?
If you were listening, so you do hear further skittering off in this direction, but you cannot see it in the dark.
Okay, so somewhere off over there, but I can't see it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How much can I gauge a number from my check?
Let's see, what'd you get? 23?
23.
I will say without seeing it, it's hard to tell because these things have so many legs that you can't tell how many you're actually listening to.
Okay.
But you do hear like that skittering, like clacking sound of like their hard, pointy shell on
Yeah.
on the stone, or yeah, coralish stone.
Okay. So, that being said, I'm going to go ahead and do I have a position on this crab thingy that's in front of me? Just before I do my thing. real
I
quick.
mean,
I just want to check.
it's just like shuffling about, like trying to warn
Okay.
you to like get out of here. Get out of here.
Crab battle. Sorry, I couldn't help it.
Why not?
Dude, look at this.
Snake!
This is happening.
Sorry, okay. So...
No, you're good. Amanda's just showing me something.
I'm going to go ahead and activate the defensive heals. So I get the +3 to my +3 temporary hit points. And then I'm going to advance on this crab thing and try and crush it with my thunder gauntlet or with my thunder punch.
Okay, I'm sorry. What did you say you were activating before you walked up to punch this thing?
Defensive field, so I get the temporary hit points.
Oh, okay. Cool. Is it just... Oh, that's right. It's equal to your health, right? Or your level?
Yeah, or my level, so 3, yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and smack this crab with what you got. Hold on. Let me get some combat music going. Okay. How's that damage looking?
1 sec.
Or hit plus damage? I just...
Aw. Do I hit? Probably not.
13. I mean, you hit. It just doesn't hurt it as you're like, you slash at it with your or I guess you're punching it, so you pummel it, and it just crushes against this hard shell.
Damn.
All right, and with that, it is going to make a swipe at you with one of its claws. And does a 14 hurt you?
No.
Okay, so it just it tears at you, and you sort of dodge around it, and it just sort of swipes at your fur. But you're okay. At this point, it begins shifting into a more aggressive stance, and it's going to sort of turn to face you here.
Okay. Is that its turn? And
Yeah,
that's
again? It. That's it for this one.
Okay.
It is standing its ground here.
Rawr.
Okay, that one is actually going to hit. Go ahead and roll up your damage. And I'll go ahead and make you a macro to roll up your accuracy and your damage at the same time. And I can do the same for you as well, Buttercup.
Okay.
Nice.
Wow, 11 damage. Holy shit. Okay, so this time when you hit it, there is actually a loud crack, and as you punch into the side of it, you see it actually caves a little bit. It doesn't seem to respond in the way that it feels pain, but you see one of its legs kind of give as its abdomen kind of crumbles against your punch. And now looking at that wound, you see there is a large snaking crack up its armor. At this, it is going to swipe at you again. Ooh, does 15 hit?
15 does not hit.
15 does not in that tanking form. All right. Okay. So it swipes at you again and misses. And at this, that yellow foam coming out of its mouth begins pouring more rapidly and just slopping and falling onto the ground.
Ew.
Yeah, kind of gross, right? All right, at this, yeah, just gonna go ahead and punch it in the face again.
All right, go ahead and roll it up.
Dope.
Jesus.
Very nice. Let's see here. Wow. Yeah, go ahead and roll that damage. Oof. Okay. So at this point, that foamy pile begins gathering at the ground at his feet, and it begins expanding a little bit And it is not blue. It's actually going to be like a gnarly, like orangey color. Ooh, that's perfect. Okay. Okay, so at this, the foam begins like spilling out onto the ground and kind of covering the area. And you kind of see that the, like where it touches the ground ground sort of like pops and sizzles a little bit. And at this, you're gonna hear like that kind of like skittering in the background.
Yeah.
As this creature begins moving up this way.
Okay.
And it is going to sort of move into position about here-ish and take a swipe at you. But that is definitely not going to hit. So it kind of swipes at you and you narrowly duck under it.
Awesome. So, now that I have two things on me.
There's two things on you.
There is two things on me.
And an AoE to think about.
There is. So yeah, I was actually going to go ahead and actually no, if they have an acid dripping from their mandibles or whatever, then I should probably not use acid on them. That's probably not a good idea.
No, there is not.
I mean, just saying. All right.
Oh.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and just crunch into the same one and just with my fist and try and finish it off. Is it looking close?
You make me an insight check.
Okay.
To make like an in-combat judgment. Buttercup, when Victor walked out of the Clifton house, how much longer did you remain in there?
Oh, I'm still there.
Oh, you're staying in there? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, no problem. At this point, it's only been a few minutes. Wow. Is that your damage?
No, that's a how healthy the thing is.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay. Okay, so with that, you can see that it is moderately injured, even though it doesn't feel pain.
Okay. Weird. So it doesn't feel pain.
It doesn't seem to respond to its injuries, no. It caved, but...
We can't hear you no more.
But it's like hurting a crab. Can you hear me okay?
No, Eddie's phone kind of like spazzed.
Ah, I see.
So he's trying to fix it right now. No, sir, we can't. Oh, wait.
Yes?
Now we can.
Now we can.
Okay. So, weird. So this creature can't feel pain?
Yes. Cannot
And
feel
I
pain
noticed
from
that?
what you can tell. Yes.
Is it undead?
No. It very
Okay.
much just looks like a large organic crab monster.
Okay. So I'm just gonna go ahead and finish my attack then.
Okay.
On the crab. Damn.
So,
Oh, it hits it then. Maybe.
what's up? That's your roll to hit?
Yeah, you turned your speaker on. Okay. Yeah, the tech. don't ask me. It's technology stuff. You handle that. And you broke it.
It's okay. If you could just have them roll damage. Oh, nice. Welcome back.
So damage?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Or actually, no. I'm sorry. my
Okay.
bad. That's a 12.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. No luck there. But at this point, with you being so close, this thing is going to take a swipe at you. And does a 19 hit?
Tie.
Tie? Okay, so that's not quite going to hit you then. But this foam at the ground is starting to spread wider and wider. And
Okay.
as it begins to creep up on you here, I'm going to need you to make a dexterity save. Mm-hmm.
The safest.
Give me 1 second. I'm finishing writing up a thing.
No, you're all good.
There we go. Yay. 15.
Yeah, we'll just make you macros to help you, like, with all this. 15. Okay, that's pretty good. So what happens is as this foam like creeps up to you, it starts to like creep up to your toes, and you see it like kind of sizzle at some of your hair, you know?
Okay.
But as you're pulling your foot back, it doesn't quite get on you, but you notice that it like tugs at your hair.
Okay.
So it's
like pulling
it's
it.
sticky, yeah, like as you're like
Yeah.
pulling away from it.
Okay.
And at this,
Back
the
on.
partner crab is going to come around side here, and it is going to swipe at you for flanking. Ooh. But fortunately, your lightning fast reflexes come through.
Nice. From here, I am going to use the, I guess, acrobatic jump ability to jump away from these two to try and clear some space.
How long does jump last? It's not a concentration, right?
No, I would have to. I'm using another spell slot if I use it.
How long does it last when you use it? You may still have it from the last one.
Let me check. Oh, 1 minute.
1 minute? Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
okay, so this will be your second use then. Just so you guys know, under your tools, you know, like where the text is up there, you will see a little I, like the letter I. It is a compendium. It doesn't have everything in it, but you can type in a spell like jump, and it will actually be a resource for you. Pulls up ring of jumping,
cool.
movement, jumping rules, and the spell jump.
Okay.
Okay, so go ahead. You are jumping. That will triple your jump distance.
So I'm gonna move back this way towards the entrance if I can. So I need to make the roll first on my acrobatics, right?
No, not to jump away, but in doing so, you will provoke 2 attacks of opportunity because you are moving out of their target space.
Well, that was the point of the I guess, of asking about that, but...
Okay, so what you're trying to do is essentially disengage.
Yes.
Okay. So, in 5th edition, you don't necessarily use acrobatics to disengage like that. You would use an action, unless you're a rogue, in which you can use a bonus action.
Okay. So I can disengage then?
So if you want to cast, your jump spell, which is a 1st level spell, as your bonus action, because I give you guys bonus spell casting. You can use your action to disengage without provoking those attacks of opportunity.
Yes, that is what I would like to do.
Okay, perfect. So you are
Just
out of
disengage
there.
and back up.
You are out of there. Both of these crabs at this point are going to turn to you and just like hold up their like clacking claws.
Okay.
And this other one over here is going to begin foaming grossness out of its mouth.
Okay. So the one that I've already injured, now that I've backed away, I'm going to like hurt like my. All right, so Braxis is gonna like hop up a loogie and acid splash on the on the one crab that he's already. I'm sorry, not acid splash, poison spray.
Poison spray. Okay.
Yeah, poison spray the one crab that he's already been punching to shit.
Okay.
Right.
That is what, a Constitution save.
Yes.
All right.
And the saving throw on that is going to be. Give me 1 second. 14.
Okay. Yeah, it definitely fails. So what's the damage on that one?
1d12. So
Can
let me
you
roll that.
see? Can you see it right now?
I can't see your rolls.
No. Can you see the crabs from where you're standing?
Yes.
You have a 15-foot sight range, right? Are you able to see all the way out here?
Well, it shows me the crabs on the screen.
You can see the crabs? Okay, so the dynamic lighting is working, but you only have about 15 feet of vision. So right now, here's the thing, I'm sorry for the mix-up, it's because I've got two different dynamic lighting modes on. But because you don't have a light source, you only have 15 feet of vision. So right now they're standing in the dark about 30 and 21 feet away. But you can spit in that direction. You'll have to make that attack at disadvantage.
Well, that means they would just get to roll another save, right? Because it's a save on their part. I don't roll the.
Oh
roll the
yeah,
attack.
you're right. My apologies. Yeah. All right. So you still hit him with that poison. Okay. So roll up that damage. I believe it's a D12.
Yeah.
Buttercup, thank you for your patience. Sorry, we're doing
no,
like
it's all
solo
good.
combat here.
She's still in the house, still tending to the kid.
Oh, 2.
Oof.
Okay. Wait, hold up. I'm sorry, you would not be able to attack because you used your action to disengage and a bonus action to cast jump.
Okay. Well, you said they were standing there just foaming and crabbing. So
Yes, I'm sorry. That was where you left them, but that's not necessarily their turn.
oh, I thought I figured that was their turn because they were just like posturing and
Yeah,
like.
no, I'm sorry. They're in actual attack mode at this point.
Oh, okay. So my
but
bad,
you
my
do
bad.
still have movement, assuming that you've just jumped back.
Yeah.
You didn't actually jump back that far. So actually, well, shit. You still have 5 feet of movement.
All right.
No, we'll call that 20. So you still have 10 feet of movement.
I guess I'll keep moving out the cave, see if I can't draw them outside.
Okay. That will absolutely work, as the two crabs are going to follow you. Well, not outside, but they will follow you up to the entrance, about here-ish.
Okay.
And then at that point, they will basically... Actually, this one's going to be up here. At this point, they have basically done what they wanted, which was drive you out of this cave.
All right.
But they're posturing from here.
So they are posturing now?
They are posturing. They're not going to attack you if you've managed to get that far out. Were you able to get that far out from where you were?
Well, you said my jump was to the front, was to where this cave bend was from there.
Yeah, your jump puts you about 20 feet away. So you still had about 10 feet to move in any particular direction. Which could put you to about up here, which would be basically right in melee range of these crabs. We're back here.
But
in
if
which,
they move into my range to, oh no, I guess not moving into my range. They wouldn't
actually,
get an
yeah, I
attack,
don't think
but-
you could get far enough to not get attacked by these crabs right now. If you jumped back 20 feet, which
It's only 20 feet on my jump, even if I jump diagonally towards the entrance.
it's not, but however far you jump back comes out of your movement speed. So you can jump back
Okay.
as far as you like. If you want, you can jump back, shit, like back here, if you like. It just has to be in a straight line. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Let me.
So yeah, if you jump back,
Jump distance is tripled.
yeah, jump distance
So-
is tripled. You generally have to get a 10-foot running start, but there's no reason that with that you couldn't jump in a straight line like way the fuck back here. You just won't have any more movement after that. And we kind of got into like a little bit of a rules heavy crunch here.
Yeah.
But essentially what's happening is you have jumped way the fuck back, and these crabs are posturing right here at this like pinch in the cave. Because they don't want you coming in their cave, their love nest.
All right. So if they are away from me,
Yeah,
Still?
they're not coming in to attack you. They are posturing at the entrance here.
then if that happens, then my acid splash thing, or I'm sorry, my poison spray thing, still, I want to draw them out of the cave.
Okay, that's fine. So you're just gonna continue peppering them from this distance?
Yeah. See if they
Okay.
see if I'm gonna attack the one that's injured
So
that I know I've punched the shit out of.
So you deal that 2 damage to him, and
Yeah.
that will successfully aggro him.
Okay, cool.
So you are now moving outside the cave?
Yes,
Okay. Let me move you back.
I'm trying to draw these creatures out so that townsfolk will obviously see them.
Keep in mind, they will also see you and have no idea what you are.
Oh, I know. I don't worry. I do have something for that.
Okay. Alright, so this giant crab has now like kind of moved out. And I guess you cast a cantrip, you still have movement, and are you just pulling it back? Did you want to try and make another attack on it?
So, if this crab is fully in view of,
It is fully outside
of the cave?
but this cliff is like 25 feet
Yeah.
up, 20 feet up.
yeah,
And it's
totally.
behind all these houses too.
Yeah.
So what is
So first thing I'm going to do as a free action, I'm going to roar loudly as I possibly can.
Oh my god. Okay. Make me a performance check at advantage.
Can I make a deception check?
to deceive?
Because I'm basically trying to draw people here so they try to fight the crabs.
Let me put it this way. You're going to draw
Yeah.
people regardless,
Yeah.
but I want to see how many people you draw with your performance check.
Okay. I'll do a performance check. Okay.
Let me see if I can find some pitchforks looking townspeople. Sure.
Oof. Meow.
What is that? Okay. Okay, so here's the thing. At the time, there's not a whole lot of people outside, but a couple folks, bless you, a couple folks do sort of come running to see what's what. And they are going to see 2 monsters essentially standing down there. And these are just the first 2 to show up this same turn. Buttercup, go ahead and roll me a perception check as well, please.
Yes,
And,
sir.
in fact, do it at advantage because this is right next to you.
Let me see. Let me pull this real quick.
As a loud bestial roar tears through the township. $13? Okay. It
I
doesn't...
rolled one, right?
Yes, you roll twice and you take the higher roll.
Yeah, it's the first one.
Okay, no problem. It's not going to be super high because this is happening basically right on the other side of this wall, 20 feet down. So you hear what sounds like a monstrous roar outside. And Cecily, who also heard it, is going to like sort of turn and look at you concerned. She says, "What was that?"
She's gonna look at Cecily and be like, "That's called a nope."
She
She goes to the door to see if there's a lock, so she could lock the door.
Yeah, there is a lock. There's like a little like deadbolt. You're absolutely
She locks the door.
Fair enough. Okay, so Braxis, meanwhile, you have successfully lured the crab out here and you have screamed in the air, drawing the first two townsfolk.
Okay.
You do not know these people. They're just here. You haven't met them yet.
Yeah.
So anything else you're doing with your turn?
Other than animal things?
I am going to say something really loudly, but that's going to need another performance check, I'm sure, so that more people can hear it, because I need them to hear it.
Okay.
So as I notice that there's townsfolk on the rise watching this battle of monsters, I'm going to punch at the crab and yell as loudly as I can in my monster voice. So first I'm going to do that. Roll. Well, that's nice for my yell.
Wow. Okay. How much?
So that's my yell.
Oh, that's your yell?
Yeah.
Oh my god, okay. What do you yell?
Alright. So as Braxis is punching at this damn crab, he yells loudly, so that as many can hear. We protect the humans.
Holy shit. Okay. At this, the majority of the township is going to hear like this like deep sort of monster voice, and there are two people who actually witness you saying this, and a crowd of many more comes running to watch. Holy shit. Including several hunters and multiple fishermen. Okay. I will say most of these guys will be arriving like next turn after about 6 seconds or so.
My yell was so nice.
Oh, well, here's the thing. They hear it, right? But it's gonna take them like at least 6 seconds to get there.
Okay. So they don't see me whiff my punch at this damn thing.
No.
Trying to be all heroic and shit.
3 people witness the whiff.
Oof.
But no, they do not see that. So at this, the crab is going to make another swipe at you. Oh my god, I'm missing all of these rolls.
It's so good.
Rolls a 2. and begins
I need that.
foaming just the same crap out of its mouth.
Yeah. Alright, so I know So at this point, I basically know I have one more chance to punch it in the face, and then I have to get away from it. Okay. Yeah, one more punch.
Okay, go for it.
You know what? I just realized I probably missed because I misspelled the shit out of that the first time.
It's fine. Yeah.
Exactly, thank you.
Yeah. Again, you're gonna punch this armor, Braxis, and it's just like
Yeah.
shell. Just hard like shell.
Oh, okay.
Aw. Yep. Alright, and it is going to make another swipe at you and roll a 7.
Nice.
Okay, so fortunately this thing has not been able to land a single hit on you.
Yeah.
But at this point, that foam is beginning to spread across the floor.
Yes. So,
And several of these men are going to begin shouting. And at this point, the others are going to arrive.
Oh, I just realized my favorite thing in 4E is not in 5E.
Oh, I'm sorry. What was it? Maybe I can help.
The 5-foot step that you use as an action as a bonus action to disengage from combat.
Oh yeah,
that was really abusable.
If
I'm not gonna lie.
rogue, yeah, if you're a rogue, you still can do it.
Yeah.
That sounds extremely broken.
Yeah. So basically, you would bonus action 5-foot step, get out of combat, and then you would be out of melee range, and then you get to just use whatever ranged attack you wanted to right
Oh my
away.
God.
It was nice. 4E was broken. All right.
Okay, so
But anyway,
at this point, you have
Sorry.
a small crowd. They are very alarmed to see both of you.
yeah.
I'm gonna say 2 of these men are hunters, and upon seeing the 2 of you, they immediately turn and leave.
They're getting more people.
All right. What are you doing next?
I need to get away from this puddle because it's starting to build again.
What makes you cartwheel? See if you eat dirt.
So like, I mean, I can't. I think I could. I don't think I can attack and disengage in the same turn.
Not unless you're a rogue.
Yeah.
Then just disengage. You got what you wanted. You wanted people to see you, and then the hunters went to go fetch more. So you
Oh, wait.
wanted-
Yeah. So I'm going to, I guess, yeah, disengage and then keep using my jump to try and jump the hell away.
Okay, I will say that you still have the last jump, so there is no need to burn an additional spell slot, but you are free to
Yeah.
jump wherever you like.
So, yeah, no, from this, I'm going to, so first jump is going to be as far as I can down the coast.
Okay, so you are going to just fucking...
Deck ass away.
What's your strength score?
My strength is 10, so
10,
it's
so
plus 0.
So 30 feet would be your jump distance.
Base, is it base or is I guess that was tripled with jump, so yeah, 30 feet.
Yeah, it's triple your jump score. I think you can jump up to your strength score in feet.
Okay.
And so triple that would be like a 30-foot jump, which can actually get you pretty far. So where are you trying to go? Because keep in
Just
mind,
to the
you
next
still
clear
have
place around.
you still have an action if you want to use that action to move. So, since you're disengaged, it really doesn't matter if it's clear or not, because you can just jump right up onto, like, this corner right here. Yeah. So if you like, you could jump straight to this corner where these guys are and just jump or run out of there if you like.
That's exactly what I'm gonna do, and I think once I make it over there, on my next turn, I'm gonna expeditious retreat and sprint the fuck out of town.
Okay.
Like-
Okay, alright, so you are gonna go ahead and sprint the fuck out of town. These guys who are just fucking watching are terrified when you just like jump up in the midst of them like it's no big deal. Because it's a 25-foot cliff you just like sprang up. As you're running out of town, you sort of like turn and look back across town to see the two hunters running back with a pair of crossbows.
Yeah.
But you, of course, are taken off out of there. So where do you go? You go south?
Basically into the tree line so that people can't see me, so I can shift back.
Okay. There is like a 10-foot like pole fence that's like surrounding all of these. You just
Well,
want
if
to
it's
hop the
only 10
fence.
feet, I can jump. I can still jump over it.
You could easily jump over it.
Yeah.
So you're just gonna hop the fence and run into the woods?
Yeah.
Okay. To the shock and awe of these guys who you left behind here and the people that have witnessed you and the shopkeeper inside the general store looking through the glass, you run right past. Here, let me go ahead and reveal that this is the general store.
Are y'all on a different map?
No, we are over here.
Oh no, I don't have any map on my screen. It still says loading.
Oh,
You might need to reload your
yeah,
page then.
you probably need to refresh.
Okay. Boop.
Yeah, so Braxis, you are just gonna hop this fence and piece right on out into the tree line.
Okay.
Where you will, I don't know, remain for who knows how long. How long are you remaining there?
I mean, I'm gonna eventually circle my way back around to the entrance of town and try shift it as a human.
Okay. Okay. So
I'm gonna wait like a good. I'm gonna say half hour out in the woods.
Okay, before just like kind of walking back as your character.
Yeah. Well, while I'm out in the woods, I am gonna go ahead and make some herbalism toolkit checks so I can try and find some herbs.
Okay, sure. Let's go ahead and say, like, this is what happens for the remainder of the evening as you're out in the woods.
Yeah.
These hunters come back and start, like, firing at the crab, which, like, immediately recoils back inside the cave. And, like, you guys aren't there to hear it, but several of them are just like, holy shit, is that what was in that fucking cave? And with this, like, hot new rumor floating around town, they are going to eventually, like, disperse and figure out amongst themselves what to do about what they just witnessed, what three of them just witnessed, and the rest, and, like, everybody heard. Including you, Buttercup, and Cicely in there.
Nope. Let's
so-
get this child come.
With Victor out in the woods, what would you like to do with the remainder of your evening, Buttercup?
What she does is she ends up like closing all the windows and locking the house down and burning the fire as hot as she can
Mm-hmm.
to see if heat will counteract the cold that the child is going through.
Okay.
And at the same time, she's going to be making that tea that's going to help her sleep. Just pass the fuck out.
Okay. Okay. So you are brewing up these herbs to make the tea. You are successful in making this place quite hot. Cecily, who never wears a shirt, takes her dress off and swaps it out for that tank top Eddie was talking about earlier because it is now toasty. But
Now
Buttercup,
that it's just us girls.
Buttercup, you note that when you give Beatrice, like, you try to, like, give her the tea, she's able to choke some of it down, but very easily it seems to, like, get shot up and come out her nose. Like, she coughs and sputters and gags when you try to give it to her.
Buttercup just, has this concerned look on her face, and she's all like, okay, this is different, but we will handle it. So she starts looking at what she does have that maybe she can, like, get, like, some, I don't know, make some, like, sleeping dust just, like, in her face. Go to bed.
Do you have any particular thing in your inventory? No, Beatrice now, she is sleeping. She is just doing so in a very, like, ill way with her ragged breathing and her sweating.
So she's already
But
sleeping then.
she is very fatigued and exhausted.
Okay. So the house, she's gonna keep it hot. She understands, why Cecily, dressed down, and she turns to her, we're gonna try to keep this house as warm as possible, because it's like she is feverish, but she's cold to the touch, and she has this sweating going on, and so she walks over to the sleeping child and, very gently, like, runs her finger, like, lightly down her cheek, and then brings it up to her nose to see if it has a different type of scent.
Noting, like, your level of care, Cecily can tell that you seem to know what you're doing. And she asks you, Miss... Did you give her your name? I don't remember if you actually gave her your name.
I don't think she did. I just think she immediately went to work.
Yeah, I think she was just surprised to see that a second healer had showed up at her door.
Yeah.
And so she tells you, Miss, I don't believe I caught your name, but if there's anything you can do to help us, can I offer you to stay here? I'm afraid I don't have much, but I could set you up with a cot or something on the floor.
She jumps at the mention of that. She's like, I forgot to introduce myself. I'm sorry. My name is Lee.
She says,
and
go on, I'm sorry.
And she's like, but yes, I'll definitely stay here and constantly monitor and see what I can do to help. She's very, very, very ill, and I'm going to try to do the best I can. I am going to be researching some stuff while I'm on my downtime, and so you're going to see various new herbs and me probably flipping through my mother's book, but just so you're not alarmed.
She's just like, whatever it takes. And there's like a pause, and she says, I don't know what you know about this illness, but I do want to warn you that in our experience, the families of the people who were sick also disappeared when the sick people vanished. And you can see the conviction on her face, and she says, I'm not going to leave my little girl, but you should know.
And Buttercup puts her eyes up, and she was like, I do know. I spoke with, I was at Agnes's Supply. I spoke with the merchant there, and he explained everything. Do you mind sitting down while she's resting and telling me if there was any sort of change in your routine or in the day? Have y'all went and done something different and out of the normal? than you typically do.
And she was thinking, and she was like, no, nothing any differently. I mean, she was, playing as all kids do. Down by the water, not too deep, of course, but and we allow the kids to play near the edge of the woods when there's supervision present.
Thinking about that, he, nods her head. It's good that, there's supervision in the woods because, of course, you have all these various plants that could, hinder or kill them. But what she focuses on is them getting in the water.
Mm-hmm.
So she looked at Cecily. She's like, so how often do the people that get sick have been previously in the water before getting sick?
And she sort of shrugs and she says, well, I mean, it's hard to say because we use the water for so many different things around here. If you're just talking about swimming, there aren't many children here, but I would say most of the people here in Norstead Point try to cool off with an evening dip. Or we did anyways, until old Liar and I began showing up.
Until who?
And she sort of shakes her head and she says, ridiculous name, really. It's just what some of the fishermen call it around here, but it's a large shark that has attacked a couple visitors in the water, in waist-deep water.
Lee's eyes get real big. She's like, yep, don't want to die.
Also,
trying to take light of the situation.
Also, Buttercup, you and Cecily would definitely both have heard the commotion outside. You absolutely would have heard Braxis. Like, I think most of the town probably heard that. But this happened right outside your house here. And you heard a bunch of voices of like hunters and fishermen sort of shouting. You know something happened outside that you didn't witness. But as you guys are spending the evening, Cecily's trying to get you caught up on like kind of the goings-ons in the city. You're welcome to make your herbalism rolls if you want to sort of study the properties of just like some of the ground moss as well as the coral that you picked up.
And that's I use
Victor, what are you up to? Herbalism kit, it would just be like the higher of your wisdom or intelligence plus your proficiency because you're proficient in that toolkit.
Okay.
And Victor, what are you up to out there in the woods? You said you were looking
So
for something.
I went and as soon as I got out into the woods, I went ahead and shifted back to human form and started looking for herbs that I could use to try and at least treat some symptoms on our patients.
Okay. Roll me an herbalism kit roll.
Okay, so the herbalism kit, what is that under?
He said it's intelligence or wisdom, whichever is higher, plus your proficiency mod. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it doesn't have like a listed modifier anywhere like your skills do. You just have to do the math yourself.
Mathing is hard though.
I know. D&D makes it fun.
Oof. Only an 8.
Wow, okay, so...
Wait, what? Where is it? 16, never mind.
16 is
I rolled
actually
a 20.
pretty good. And you rolled a 20. Okay, hold on then. Let me flip over to Dale Kingsmill's herbalism system.
Yay!
Which I've been interested in taking a crack at, but it is also quite intimidating because it's got a whole lot of shit in there.
Fun.
Okay, let's see. Looking for coast. Here, let me just link this to to you guys. Oh my gosh, what is all this? There you are. So let's see.
I'm actually having a lot of fun right now, so I'm happy.
Good. I am roasting in this closet.
Oh God.
There's no airflow and I'm like sweating while I'm running this game. Coast, here we go. Okay. We are going to say... Ooh, okay. So you don't necessarily find anything that you could use to heal anyone?
Yeah.
But you do find something called Blind Your Eye.
Okay.
It is a tangled root system which lifts the tree half out of the water while its heavy leaves dangle into the water's edge. Huh. I don't know. So, assumably, you just like harvest the roots of this plant. But you know that if you grind it up into like a powder and blow it in someone's face, it will momentarily blind them.
Okay.
So go ahead and just like make a note of the effect. You have the equivalent of like 1 dose of this. As for Buttercup, who aced that herbalism kit with a 20,
right?
The grass and like the moss that you basically peeled off of the coral is just essentially fresh, young, generic grass. It is like kind of the first wave of producers trying to like get a foothold in this not super nutritious coral. Looking at the coral itself, you find that the coral is actually good at holding an edge, but it is very fragile. In addition to that, there's not a whole lot of nutritional content, and you imagine that like if you were to breathe in like the dust of this, it would be pretty scratchy. Are you looking for anything in particular as far as coral properties? There don't seem to be any spores.
No, what she's just doing is trying to see what the breakdown of it is. So since it can be a little dusty, she's like, you know what? That could be potentially something that is affecting her breathing. What if some of the coral dust, you know, like say she was playing and jumping around and it got a little bit got blown into her face?
Mm-hmm. It is certain. It's certainly possible because that would help explain like the ragged breathing.
Yeah, and that's all she's doing. She's trying to rule out all other possibilities.
Mm-hmm. Asking Cecily about it, she notes that while like there can be small amounts of dust, you know, that can be scratchy. Generally speaking, with it being so windy, it's not a huge problem because there's not a ton of loose dust either.
Mm-hmm. And Lee, you know, shakes her, nods her head. She's like, okay, so we're gonna see how she does through the night. We're gonna let her sleep for as long as possible. We do need to try to get her to eat, even if it's, you know, broth or something like that with some root vegetables or something, which I can go pick up from the merchant, so that way you can stay here and watch over her. We got to try to keep, you know, giving her a little bit of water and food so that her body can fight off whatever it is that she has, and we need to watch over how wet the things around her get, so that way we can change the bedding and her clothes as needed.
Cicely nods. She says, yes, of course. I've been trying to give her food and water, but as you see, she seems to have a tough time swallowing anything. But, you know, we'll do what we can. She basically, the two of you spend the evening kind of just like getting caught up, trying to get you caught up on the situation, what's going on. Victor, after a while, you return to town. and we will probably bring this to a close. Where would you like to stay, Victor?
Well, if I was staying, I thought I was staying at the inn.
You're welcome to stay in the inn if you like.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, heading over to Chastain's Tavern. All right. So, opening up the door and stepping inside, you find there are several hunters in here who are talking very excitedly. I don't have the little art for them right now, which is kind of annoying. Oh well. There is also going to be a barmaid slash cook who seems to run the place. And an old kooky looking man sitting at a table by himself, listening
All right.
intently to the stories.
Suddenly, there's a dude.
Sorry, just pop.
I see if I can find a table by myself.
Okay. It is not too hard. We will just set you up with. I need to put chairs. I don't know what is this, like a table with no chairs? I don't know.
I think so.
We'll set you over here.
Either way, that's fine.
We'll set you over here, and after a while, the barmaid, not too long, is gonna approach you and say, "Hi, welcome to Chastain's. My name is." Oh shit, 100. My name is Yvonne.
How exotic.
Sound like such an asshole, dude.
I know, right?
She says, "No."
Like a
Um,
character.
She says, "Actually,
No,
I grew up
it's-
around here. This was my grandmother's tavern. I just sort of took it over."
Well, I see she's
my
kept a
husband and
beautiful
I.
establishment.
She says, "Oh, thank you. I take care of the place. My husband and I." Oh my god, I'm gonna make in honor of that one character that didn't get played all that much.
Is your husband the one that does the cooking?
She says, "That's him. He's in the back right now. Can I get you anything to munch on?"
Actually, I will take the chef's choice.
All right.
Whatever he suggests.
Catch of the day it is. And she says, "I'll be right back with some food and drink. Can I interest you in anything else?" Actually, what would you like to drink?
Beer.
What's your poison?
Victor doesn't muddle mind with alcohol, so he just simply water, ma'am.
Water. And she says, "That I can do." And so she is going to turn and leave. You hear several of the hunters beside you talking excitedly about. Damn it! Where are some bar patrons? We want some damn bar patrons. Here we go. Whoop. Yeah, several of the hunters talking about like the beast encounter that happened earlier. And there are also multiple fishermen over in the corner having a chat amongst themselves.
So, out of character, Hunter, so being a hunter,
Mm-hmm.
is there some kind of like licensing or anything like that, or some kind of
Yes.
symbol that I have? Okay.
Yes, it is actually just a license. And
Okay.
being a hunter is basically just like a very basic system that allows people who partake in the same job to get an even split of the cut.
Okay.
That's basically all it is.
So, I make sure I call the waitress's attention to me moving to the table of the hunters as I walk over
Okay.
and join them. I make sure to show them they see my credentials, As I approach, gentlemen, I hear you talking excitedly. What's going on? I say, should I roll a deception check on that since I clearly know what's going on?
What's going on? Yeah, I mean, if you like, yeah. I mean, you can just ask them what's going on. There's not a whole lot of lying involved with that.
That's true. Okay.
And,
so, gentlemen, what seems to be going on?
And these hunters all sort of like turn and look at like the tall stranger who just sort of like walked in and approached them, and they all just say, "What's going on? Didn't you hear, lad? There's monsters afoot over there in the cave that nobody can get to."
Really? I had heard some kind of commotion on that side of town, but I didn't know anything.
That's right. A couple of the boys ran back to grab their crossbows, but by the time they came back, everything was all over.
Do you think it was some kind of territory dispute?
And they sort of look amongst themselves and they say, "Well, it's hard to say. We all heard something rather strange. And a few of the boys said they saw one of the monsters speaking like a man."
Really? Fascinating.
And they say, "Say, stranger, where are you from?"
Oh, I come from the capital. I've received
So the
I was,
capital is actually not terribly far to the south of this point.
yeah.
Actually, no. Norstead is more...
I honestly, like, out of character, I kind of
The capital is the big
where I
city.
should be from.
That's all you need
But
to know.
I feel like as a man of education, that would probably be the best bet.
Yes.
Like, I don't know, in all honesty.
Yeah, let me show you about where you guys are.
Ooh, map loading, yay!
Okay, so if this is the Boletarian Peninsula,
Oh, yeah.
then Norstead Point, where you guys are, is gonna be more like over here-ish.
Okay.
Doot, doot, doot. So if you're coming from
That little...
this little nub right here,
Yeah.
so the Holy Kingdom, the capital, right over here. Think France if France was Great Britain. That's where you're from.
Okay. Okay. So that's why I have such a weird accent in the way I talk.
That's right.
Okay. Cool. So, all right. Also, out of character, does this take place after the events of the other Nerd Jam campaign, or where's it? Where's this sit in the timeline?
Where does this take place in the timeline? I am going to say yes, this takes place after the events of the last one, but before anybody knows that the big bad is like sweeping across the landscape to the west.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
So
So it's not like
it's
I fled
happening
the city.
like
It's more
right
like
now. Yeah, it's not like you fled the city. You don't know about it yet. But
yeah.
currently there's like an army moving from the west to the center of the continent.
Okay. So I just happened to somehow miraculously avoid it. Okay.
You just left town before that army got to the town.
Yeah.
And nobody knows they're coming because they kill like everything they come across.
Oh wait, yeah. I went to the east. They were from the west.
Right.
Never
They're
mind.
from the
I left
west.
the opposite direction.
Right.
My
Yeah.
bad.
All good.
My brain messed it up. Sorry.
No, you're good. We're actually
anyway.
getting to about like 1:12. Is there anything you want to discuss with these guys before you get yourself a room?
Not really. It was more just kind of like ingratiating myself to the local hunters
Getting to know the others.
before. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so they get to know you as a hunter. Is that what you're wanting them?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So they are going to introduce themselves as... We've got a Randall, a... What is this? A Jocelyn. I thought that was a woman's name.
That is a woman's name.
And,
Generally, I don't know.
And a Percival. Okay, word.
Percival.
Let's... So, here we go. Percival. Boop. Jocelyn, if I'm saying that right.
So if they're telling me about this crab creature or whatever down there, I present what I found in the woods. It's like I went venturing for medicine. However, I came upon this this particularly potent tree sap that may cause some blindness in these creatures.
And they say, huh, that's pretty handy. So we could use a doctor around here. You know, the old Clifton kid's supposed to be pretty ill. Might be worth paying her a visit.
I actually have already been by there. That's what I was venturing into the woods to find. But as I've told you, I've only found this tree sap that, well, will aid in the hunt.
And Randall says, then I'm sure you've met her lovely mother, Cecily. And to this, Percival raises his glass and sighs dreamily.
Seems so Victor just unfazed by talking of her beauty or whatever. He just, yes, the Lady Cecily was quite informative about her daughter.
They say, yes, pretty grave news that. But hopefully you'll be able to do a thing or two about it. We've had rather poor luck with all of this. I don't suppose you've heard about the others.
Others?
And they say, oh yes.
Do tell.
There were a couple families that came before the Odos and the Tims. And that was the father and the sister. Father of the Odos, sister of the Tims. And they used to own a couple of the houses, but once they fell ill, the whole family vanished.
Really?
Those are going to be...
So one fell ill,
this
and
house
then...
and this house.
The rest disappeared.
That's right.
We must keep an eye on the Lady Cecily. She may be in danger. Now. So...
Do you speak this way? Like,
no, he really speaks like weirdly.
Dark, slow, and very dry in a way that kind of makes these drinking buddies feel slightly uncomfortable at your tall loop. And are you sitting with them?
But he's drinking water. He's not drinking beer, and he doesn't care that everyone else is drinking alcohol, and he will not.
Yeah, no, it's just funny because they're excitedly talking to each other, and I just picture your character looming over and just being like, "Hello."
Yeah.
That's a whole thing.
Okay. All right, so you're gonna end up getting a room here tonight?
Yes.
All right. I am beginning to sweat profusely myself. So if you guys don't mind, we will go ahead and call it here, and I'm going to step out into the AC.
Absolutely.
I think this has been good. We've gotten a pretty solid start to this. I feel pretty comfortable moving from here.
Yes. Fun RP hooks. It'll be great.
So we will begin next when Bruce Fantana comes to town.
Is that Friday or tomorrow?
I believe we're doing it tomorrow.
Okay, cool. No worries.
Okay. Awesome, everybody.
more accommodating.
Yeah. We'll
Yeah.
try and get Kayla into bed a little bit earlier.
Oh, don't even worry about it, guys. If they have to be like short 2-3 hour sessions, I'm okay with that. We're getting a late start one way or another.
All right,
So
buddy.
like no pressure. Alrighty, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed yourself.
Oh, I'm having fun. I'm having a lot of fun.
Yeah, me too. I haven't played D&D in like a million years. So it feels pretty damn good to run a game again. I'm going to go ahead and pause the recording here.